basically. In those organizations, do you feel that this role is going to be permanent in nature, wherein he will have further responsibility of hiring certain super specialists below him in the future?
You know, you raise a very good point, because particularly in industries which are where the product is digitizable. So let's talk about, for instance, the music industry, where there's really no specific value to a small disc of vinyl or a small disc of some plastic that actually contains the music. Then you are absolutely fair game from a digital point of view. There is no way that you will continue to have any kind of a business without it being predominantly a digital business, if not entirely a digital business. Publishing comes to mind, entertainment comes to mind, media. Sitting here in under the August offices of a magazine, is absolutely incredible to think of what transformations those industries will go through, with digital. And certainly I see the role. But to your larger point, I really think in these organizations, your CEO is your chief digital officer. In a sense that here is where digital is not a strategic option. It is the strategic option. So your entire leadership, particularly a CEO, better get digital or they don't get, anywhere. And I think that's really the place. And you talked about the evolution of the CDO role, at a strategic level to a CEO. I think you'll see that happening a lot more. One thing that I think we should also take into account is that you look at the generation of today and you look at how they will come to these leadership roles. I really don't see that, 20 years from now, you'll have to teach a CEO what digital is. Certainly not as a role. So
I partially agree to that. And obviously, the younger generation, if you see kids at your home, they all are playing with multiple devices currently. And nothing in the current parlance. Let's sum it up. My major observation is that the key takeaway from this discussion is that CDO role is gonna be very, very important role for coming years, for couple of years to come. And any progress-driven organization, any progress growth-oriented board has to invest in a chief digital officer. If it's already there, not in your plans from hiring standpoint, kindly include a chief digital officer from your hiring standpoint. And this guy might not be having a fancy stellar degree from a technology university. He can come from communication background also. So that's all we would like to conclude.
Wonderful. I'd like to add a couple of points, I think, and particularly from Shiv's keynote. And we talked a little bit about this earlier, which talks about digital being a leveler between, size and agility. And, I recall in that context something I learned in my stints at General Electric, where we really say, we say big is slow, small is fast. And small and fast will always beat big and slow. And I think there's no arguing that. But I think we don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about what happens when you are big and fast. Like a bus or like a truck. And then, what that does to the marketplace when you are big and fast.
Absolutely right.
Is probably that junction that a lot of people are not looking at. And fortunately or unfortunately, digital really equips the big and fast very quickly. In the sense that, you look, for instance, today at some of the larger disruptive digital companies. You look at Uber, you look at Amazon, you look at several of these and you think, when these guys get really big, it's not a pleasant thought for anybody in that industry today to say, when they start operating at the scale of some of the larger brick and mortar only companies, then you understand what digital can do to your market, because big and fast will always beat everybody else. And I think, it's really the goal of every company to understand. So small and fast wants to get big and fast. Big and slow wants to get big and fast. But because when you get there, the road is really open for you if you're big and fast. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. But hang on, gentlemen. We've had a little discussion over here, but there might be points of view out here in the audience which may be slightly different or something else. So if we have any opinions, any points of view from the audience, maybe we can take a maximum of 2. Anybody wants to? Yeah. So can we have the mic here, please?
Now, my question is both the panelists, saying that there is a slide saying that CIO and digital CDO role is really different. But how do we exactly look when you see